Hey y'all, today I'm doing a very special recipe. You can find Sarma in the Yugoslavian section of the Butte Heritage Cookbook. I have my dad's recipe that was handed down from his mom, so I'm going to use that. This recipe is special to me because it was one I had growing up. It was one that my dad learned how to make from his mom, my grandmother, and removing the stem part. Then you're going to cut it into quarters, and then you're going to cut it into about 1 inch-ish slices. Then you're going to take it and you're going to kind of spread it out into a layer on the bottom of your roasting pan. And any of them that you get that have a lot of that core in it, you can just omit it. So you can see it's a single layer on the bottom that's covered the bottom really nice. So then you need at least half an onion. I'm gonna dice up 2 onions and use not quite half of it for this layer. So let me get these diced up real quick. Whew, for a first time in a long time, those onions kind of got to me. I'm gonna put about 1/4 of the onions over top of the cabbage in the roasting pan. I call for it, but I'm going to season with some salt and pepper just over this layer. Okay, now we're gonna work on our meatballs, which I need to get a couple of ingredients. Okay, so in the bowl I have ground beef and a little bit of ground pork. I'm going to add some Worcestershire sauce, it's pretty good. And then you're gonna add 1 packet of onion soup mix. You're gonna add the rest of these onions. 2 to 4 eggs. I've got a lot of meat going on here. I'm actually gonna take my rings off. I've got a lot of meat going on here, so I'm gonna crack 4 eggs. They're a little smaller. If you had the large eggs, I would recommend probably just 2 or 3 would be good, depending on how much meat you're putting in there. And then some Alpine Touch. Pre-mix this really quick, and then I'm going to crush up pork rinds and put those in as well. The recipe calls for bread and minute rice, both of which are not low carb, both of which probably not what I want to do. So I'm going to substitute both the bread and the rice for pork rinds. You could very easily do bread and rice for yourself. So now that you've got everything mixed through, we're going to make about 2-inch size meatballs. A little bit smaller than a baseball. I'm gonna put it on top of the cabbage. I want to make sure that they have a little bit of room around each other, but I think I have a little too much of the meat mixture, so if they touch
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. You want to make the meatballs about the same size so that they will all cook pretty uniformly. And what my dad always said is to start on the outside and then work your way into the middle. And looking at this, I'm definitely gonna have more meat than is ready in this dish. So I think whatever's left over, I'm gonna turn into sort of a meatloaf to have as leftovers. There always seems to be extra of the cabbage and kind of the little bits left over. So I think I'm gonna make whatever's left over in the meat mixture into a meatloaf to have with it tomorrow with the leftover cabbage. Thank you, my little helper. Oh my goodness. Are your kids wild too? So I have a whole meatloaf. Okay, so now that the meat mixture is into the roasting pan, I have a meatloaf over there going. I'm gonna take this last little bit of cabbage, cut this core out, and this one gets smaller diced up pieces, and these kind of help add a little bit of moisture to the top of the meatballs that you've got going on. They kind of create this cool little crusty piece to the outside of it. So you want to take all this and just kind of lightly sprinkle it on top. Okay, so now you need very small touch of water in here. So less than 1/4 cup of water around the edges. And then you put this in the oven, 375 degrees for 2 hours uncovered. And we'll be right back. Okay, the sarma's been in for about 2.5 hours. We're gonna do a quick little stir. And they want to get all the tops flipped over. We're gonna add 2 big cans of whole peeled tomatoes, juice and all, and put this right on top. And then you kind of push the tomatoes down in between the meatball and then back in the oven for about another 45 minutes to an hour. Also uncovered. Smells just like I remember. Have a great day. See you later. Bye.